All right, so this is part two. If you watched part one, what we did is we created a main lead source or designated it as a main lead source, and then we grouped these other ones under this one, right? So now we're at this point where we're ready to push these changes. We have 7 contacts where we want to change their old lead source to their new lead source, right? We're ready to push these changes. So to do that, we have to do a couple things first. We got to set up this tool. So if I try to push these changes right now, if I hit push changes, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a little message down here. So I'm going to toggle this so I don't have to scroll all the way down. But it says ultimate disabled. So number one, I'm on a free account, so that's not going to work. So let me upgrade my account right quick. All right, let me refresh this page. Now I'm on a ultimate license. So let's try that again. I'm going to toggle this and I'm going to push these changes. And the page reloaded. Let's see what it says now. So this one, it says disabled. So what that means is pushing is disabled right now because we have it currently disabled. We can enable or disable this feature. I'll show you how to enable it, but let's not enable it right now. What we need to do is create this remove lead source action set. So let's go under the advanced settings right quick. Let's go there. And we have lead source pushing. Yes, enable the push feature. So that is, how you enable or disable the feature, right? And then right here it says we did not find an action set named remove lead source. You must add this action set in order for us to update a contact's lead source. So I'm going to copy this remove lead source because we're looking for an action set that's named that exactly named that way. So I'm going to go into my Infusionsoft account, go to CRM settings, and then go into action set, or action sets right here. And I'm going to add an action set. I'm going to call it remove lead source. And what I want to do is I want to set a contact field to a specific value. Now the important thing in here is that you select the lead source ID. Don't select lead source. Make sure you do lead source ID. Set it to 0 and make sure that you check this box, update contacts who already have a lead source set. So when you do that, what we can do now is once you save this lead source, and I'm going to hit save again, what that's going to do is we're going to be able to run this action set against a contact, which basically removes their lead source. That way we can set their lead source again. So action set is ID 388. And if I refresh the settings page, it says, hey, we found your remove lead source action set. It's ID 388. So we're good to go as far as that goes, right? Now all we need to do is enable this feature. I'm going to go ahead and enable it because we're pretty much ready to push changes. If you did not want to, enable it, you could leave it disabled for now, but I'm going to enable it right now. So I'm going to hit save. There's also another thing down here. It's called lead source push tags. You might not need it. It's up to you, but basically, let's say their old lead source is Google-organic and their new lead source is Google. Well, if you want a tag of whatever their old lead source was, Google-organic, you can apply a tag that has their old lead source, and I'll go ahead and do that. You don't necessarily need it, but if you just wanted a historical record of what their old lead source was, you could do that. I'll go ahead and enable it. It's up to you if you want to have a tag or not. Some people like having tags, some people don't. It's really up to you. So I'm going to go back to the lead source organizer. I'm going to go back into that. I got my main lead source here. I'm going to go to the lead source reassignment or grouping page. So those messages we saw earlier about the lead source features disabled, we can't find your remove lead source action set, those are gone now, right? Because we're ready to go. So I'm going to toggle this real quick. Here's my lead sources or contacts. So we're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to take this contact ID, and let's go see what happens to him, right? So he's the one with that Google Organic lead source. And before I push these changes, let's look at his contact record. So here's his lead source. Let's go to his tags. I'm just going to remove his tags for right now so he has no tags. And let's actually push these changes. I'm going to hit push changes. And this is going to it's going to run in the background right now. I can toggle this. And it says we are currently pushing your lead source updates. We wait 2 seconds between each update to basically throttle your API calls. So right now this is currently running. We've updated 1 of 7 contacts so far. So I'm going to refresh the page and I'm going to toggle this. So we're at 6 of 7 so far. I'm going to refresh the page. And now it's updated 7 of 7. It took 32 seconds to run and it's finished. So let's look at this contact record. I'm going to refresh this contact. The lead source is Google. It did the reassignment. And if you look at the tags, here is it's the iTracker 360 old lead source category, and we basically applied a tag that had their old lead source. So if you see this, you know that, oh, he had an old lead source of that, and it looks like it was updated on this date, and here's his new lead source, Google. So that's how you push changes to Infusionsoft as far as wanting to reorganize your lead sources. So now if I go back here and I'm going to search for Google, there's 0 people assigned to these lead sources, and they're basically assigned to that Google lead source, right? They're assigned to this lead source right now. So that's how you push changes, reassign lead sources to Infusionsoft. So, setting up your remove lead source action set, enabling the feature. If you want the tags, you can do that. And then how to actually push the changes. Now, if we didn't push the changes right now, this would run later. I think it runs like every 24 hours. We would push the changes then as well. So it's kind of on autopilot. So the next video, I'm going to show you some other features as far as assigning categories and bulk deleting lead sources.